guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. With the first week of NBA in the books, our Run Pure Sports hot streak continues. RPS has been on a roll, and NBA kicked off with some big winners. Big T hit 58,000 across both sites on opening night. New member Jeff Nugent hit for 10K. Shawnee hit for 22K. And on night 2, Eden Cohen shipped for a monster $250,000, taking down the main $888 tournament on DraftKings. On Wednesday, Locks hit for $72,000 on DraftKings, and on that same night, I hit my biggest NBA win yet, shipping for over $100,000 on FanDuel by simply using the premium content produced by our Run Pure Sports team. Glock's heat map provided me with the info I needed to build my lineup and help me ship. And it wasn't just NBA producing big winners. Big T pushed Guz the Bus Edwards hard on the Sunday Morning Wood Show.
I know we're saving money at running back this week, but are you spinning up for Derrick Henry?
Yeah, I mean, I can't play Derrick Henry when I'm playing Gus the Bus. I mean, that's tough.
How did every game finds its way back to Gus?
Gus went off, scoring 2 touchdowns at only 2% ownership. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel to get great calls like this for free on a daily basis. Gus was also featured in Big T's player pool, along with Bengal stacks. The Week 7 Burrow to Chase connection was on fire, leading to some big wins for RPS members. Congrats to P451017 for riding that stack to $15,000. And shout out to DK for 5 for staking Corey Pooler, who hit for $1,500. DK for himself hit for $4K on the afternoon slate. To top off the week, our members ran pure in some showdown contests too. Last Thursday, I shipped another King of the Beach seat with plays I highlighted in my attack plan, available to premium members, featuring Jawan Johnson in the captain slot. And the winning continued on Sunday's showdown slate with a slew of RPS logos sharing in a first place finish. Congrats to Bring the Noise, who entered 2 different lineups, which actually both tied for first. He was joined at the top by fellow RPS members Sully's World, Nuance 7, Molliver, Jay Gingery, FF Guru TX, Dub KJ, and T Brad 30 joined in, turning $68 into $1,600. Shout out as well to member Alec for turning $20 into $10K in MLB. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in our Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Until next time, let's keep running pure.
It's picking winners. It's Holden, Mangone, spread. We're going to pick some, 6 games? We'll talk Thursday night football. We finally got a great Thursday night football game. So we'll talk 5 games on the main DFS slate from a DFS side. Spread will start talking about it from a betting side. So 5 games. Raiders, Saints. The Saints defense has gone to hell. Dolphins, Lions. Listen, it doesn't look like a great game on paper, but it's got a huge total. Cardinals, Saints. Niners, Rams. I wrote the Saints down twice, so that can't be true, guys. Who are the Raiders playing and who are the Cardinals playing? Because one of them's not playing the Saints.
The Raiders play the Saints and the Cardinals play the Vikings.
All right, it's Cards, Vikings. Good job by me. Niners, Rams, Cowboys, Bears, and Ravens, Bucks. Solid work by me, spread, not even getting all the games right right off the top.
Holden, I saw you had the wrong one, and I didn't say anything because I wanted to see if that's what you run through for your breakdown at the start of the show. So now I know that's what you use to say, hey, we're doing this game, this game, this game. So yeah, I saw the double Saints there, and I just said,
was the double Saints on there too?
Yeah, yeah.
I sent you double Saints, and then I looked at the Saints and the thing, and I wrote double Saints. So I did it 2 times.
Okay. You did it twice then. I definitely saw the double Saints in the message.
I'm not surprised you're running behind today.
Did you stock up on food today with snow showers coming our way? Did you stock up on food? It sounds like you're a little bit afraid with the snow coming.
I'm not afraid of the snow showers, but I know people who are. They keep telling me.
Who's afraid of snow showers in Denver? People from California.
For one, it's my one.
I would be.
My one roommate's mom keeps telling him it's gonna snow 24 inches, and like she lives in like another state, so that's the one person. And then other people have been other like group chats I'm in. Just people are like, oh, it's gonna snow a lot tomorrow, and I'm like, yeah, well, we'll see about that.
Is she any good looking?
How old? And I have no idea. I mean, it's my roommate's mom that lives in another state. I've never met her.
Didn't you see what Zappy was singing the other night?
What did he say? Oh,
what was the song? Sally's
That was
mom?
Mac Jones, I thought, right? Or was
Susie's
it Zappy?
mom? No. It was Zappy. He was talking about somebody's mom. He was singing along. And then I listened. Stacy's mom.
Yeah.
Stacy's mom has got it going on. Spread, talk to me, my friend. What's happening in the NFL streets? The NBA is going on now. We got 6 games. One is the Cardinals and the Vikings, not the Saints. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm just happy you combed your hair today, Holden.
I didn't.
Oh, really? So, okay, you're morphing away from the anime character. Then it looks like you tried today. So
I did. I put some water in my hands.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there was from the grease that was already in there, and it just went straight back. What do you think about that, Spread?
I think it looks great. I'm excited to break down some of these NFL games with you guys today.
Yeah. I'm showing up. Maybe I'm showing up next week with Holden hair. Maybe I'll do that.
You don't have enough. Let's
That
see
will
it.
pop the ratings.
Let's
I have
see it.
enough. We can make it happen.
Oh, you do now.
Have
You
it
might
all.
be.
Pop ratings.
Hold on a second. You got a receding hairline at 30. That's not good.
I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing. But
He's trying to get on the old guys pod with
it could
us.
be. It could be.
That's
It
how
could be
you
a way worse.
qualify.
It could be a way worse hairline than other people. I'll say
Dude,
that.
that would be so amazing if next week you come on with your hair slicked back and I'll wear the DFS uniform hat backwards.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if I'm feeling frisky.
Did you see that bit on Twitter too, where they're like the Halloween costume for a DFS tout?
Yeah, that was
Backwards hat,
Yeah,
either a hoodie or a shirt,
yeah,
you know, paying in
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
yeah. It was good. I was laughing about it.
All right, I want to discuss one thing before we get into this games. By the way, hit the like button. That'd be amazing because it helps us with some algorithm. I don't know what that is. PumaCom Simon in the back lets us know about that. But like, subscribe, little red button, bottom right corner. NBA, I would say it's our best sport, but we're so much on fire. The NFL, I don't even know what our best sport is anymore. So we got that. We got the NBA Hardwood show coming up later. Spread has the NBA daily show on the rundown, and then every day, most days during the week, me, Tony, the Big T, JSU, we do up to lock. So an hour before the games start, we take your questions, we get their cores and everything like that. So that's what we got going on at RPS. Last thing to bring up, I guess I'll go to you, Mangone, since we're both in Denver. This Russell Wilson thing. I mean, it's enough already. The guy is 2-5. He's talking about doing knee highs on a plane to London for 4 of the 8-hour flight. If they were winning, it'd be cool. He is now the NFL pariah. That is what Russell Wilson is until he wins.
Yeah, I mean, even if he was winning, I don't think I'd care about the high knees. I'd be like, okay, dude, I'm trying to sleep. Like, this is ridiculous. So, but hey, I mean, the problem I have with it the most is like, it's not like Jerry Judy's out there and being like, this dude's a grinder. Like, look at him doing high knees, man. He's getting ready. It's Russell Wilson literally telling everyone, I'm doing high knees. Like, no one cares, Russ.
No.
Get some W's. If other people want to gas you up, that's great. Don't do it yourself. It's corny and weird.
The only thing that I thought was really weird was that he didn't have sex with Sierra before they got married. Now it's starting to get super weird. Spread, any thoughts on Russell Wilson before we get to Raiders and Saints?
I mean, all we do is trash Russes on this show. The NBA show, we trust Westbrook. The NFL show, we trust Wilson. Not a good time to be an athlete named Russell.
No, you don't mess with this. Okay, I know the Saints are playing this week, and they're hosting the Raiders. Now, the Saints are 2-point dogs at home, plus 115 money line. Raiders minus 132. 49.5 is the total. It's a healthy total. Here's the Saints defense the past month. Thanks, Connor Allen. 31st in EPA. Okay. 31st in pass EPA. 26th in explosive pass rate. So Devontae Adams could have a huge day. 23rd in rushing EPA allowed. That's expected points against. It makes you sound smart. And then 26th in play success rate allowed. Spread, this defense for the Saints in a massive, massive funk. What do you got here with the Raiders first?
Yeah, I mean, this Raiders team is starting to come together and look like the team that we expected in the offseason. Got off to a slow start But from what I read, that Josh McDaniels playbook is worse than a calculus book. So not surprised that it took a little while to install a new system there. I think Waller being out helped the Raiders last week because then Carr was just free to target Adams over and over and over again, in the words of the great Marshawn Lynch. And that seemed to work, right? The guy can turn a 4-yard pass into a 9-yard first down. The defense still has some issues here, but we're looking at a Saints team that is really struggling with injuries. On the defensive side, you talked about those bad statistics. This is simply a case of a team that's not healthy and they're getting older. They have continual players, all pros, but they're not playing at the same level that they had for year after year. And you have to wonder now that Dennis Allen, the former defensive coordinator, moved to head coach. He's still designing these game plans and these schemes for the team, but he's also got to have his attention elsewhere. You have to wonder if that's hurting the Saints' preparation on the defensive end. The Raiders look pretty good against the Texans, right? They didn't keep that game close, which was something we were looking for this team. They let Arizona hang around. It bit them in the butt. So it seemed like they learned from that mistake. They were able to win as a favorite off a bye, which isn't a great trend. So good for them to do that there. Now they head to New Orleans to take on a team that's really hurt. Some advantages that the Saints will have is, of course, the extra rest, but they're coming off the loss to the Arizona Cardinals on Thursday night, where they didn't look very good. To be fair, those pick sixes switched the game so much. Maybe if that didn't happen, the Saints could have kept it close. I like the Raiders here. Originally ran in the projections, it was having to come up the Saints, and I said, hey, I got to check these numbers because that doesn't make sense to me. You have a Raiders team that, even though they have a bad record, they have a positive point differential, and the Saints team that's pretty much going in the other direction. I know we like home dogs in the NFL, but I think this Raiders team is ready to get on a roll. They have a fairly easy schedule coming up. They took their lumps early, but you know what? If you're a fan of a team, you'd rather have them suffer early and then get hot late, because it is hard to stay hot for 17 games. So I expect the Raiders to continue their positive momentum, and I like them to cover the spread here.
That's amazing. McDaniel is the worst coach still in the history of the league, and now he's got this team turning around a little bit.
In the history of the league?
Yes, in the whole history.
Worse than Jim Zorn.
Hey, this is impossible. Well, Jim Zorn is Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett is Jim Zorn.
I was going to say worse than Staley.
Yeah.
I mean,
we do have
McDaniels had Tebow. He's got Justin Herbert.
We got a question in the chat. Spread, have you killed anyone yet? But then Tyler said, Spread had me get rid of the body.
Are you guys proud of yourself for starting this? Before I was just known as this hardworking, polite guy. You know, you count on me to show up on time, always get my work done, treat others with respect. And now, after being on the old guys pod for 4 weeks, I can't jump on a show without getting jokes about being a murderer. So congratulations, Holden. Your work here is done.
Okay. So, Mangone, we got to talk about the quarterback situation here, because Jameis isn't 100%. I don't know if he plays or not. So that would leave us Andy Dalton, Taysom Hill. Derek Carr is in a great spot. Josh Jacobs has turned into a running back one. Kamara is in a good spot this week. Devontae Adams, Chris Olave. I mean, I'm just looking here. This could be a smorgasbord of fantasy points this week, Mangone. Do you like this game?
Yeah, this is the first game of the Saints doubleheader on Sunday, Holding, correct?
Yes, because they later play the Cardinals and the Vikings.
Just checking. So this game is definitely one that and there's a lot of games that I'm not excited about this week, Holden. I'll admit there was one that you put question marks next to, and I was like, yeah, I guess it's rough. I mean, it's just these are not the best games to talk about today, but we do have some interesting options on the Saints. Let's start with Alvin Kamara's price tag and Josh Jacobs' price tag. I mean, 7-1 and 7-5. If I told you Alvin Kamara was cheaper than Josh Jacobs this year, I think you'd probably say I was crazy. It just didn't seem like something that was going to happen, and we've arrived here. And I still think more people want to play Josh Jacobs over Alvin Kamara, which don't totally disagree with, but I do want to see what Alvin Kamara's ownership is going to be in tournaments. I mean, look what this guy has done in the past 3 weeks. 27.4, 18.4, 17.5 fantasy points with no touchdowns. The touchdowns are coming. They certainly are. This is a matchup where they can happen as well. We saw Dameon Pierce do pretty decent on the ground. I expect a pretty good game from someone like Alvin Kamara this week. I think he's an amazing tournament option. I like Josh Jacobs, think he's in play. I do want to see what's going to happen with Devontae Adams and his ownership, not just because it's Devontae Adams, but because there's so many different options up top to play at receiver this week. I mean, if we just kind of dial back looking at one game, we look at the entire slate. Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. What do they all have in common? Well, they're great receivers. They're all expensive. And what else? They all play in a dome this week. Like, there's just great spots for top-end receivers. Haven't even mentioned DeAndre Hopkins or A.J. Brown in a spot where they'll probably put up a ton of points against Pittsburgh. Lots of options to consider at receiver. So I do like Devontae Adams, but ownership is going to be very important with these top-end receivers to look at this week. If you are looking in this like lower range or mid-tier range for receivers, I think Chris Olave is a really good option at 6K. I'm assuming Mike Thomas is still going to be out. So assuming Jarvis Landry's still not playing. And if that's the case, at 6K, the role he's going to have, I think he's a really good option that we need to be considering. If we have Darren Waller out, Foster Moreau at 3.1K, he will become a pretty chalky tight end on this slate that you have to consider in your cash games and your tournament. So this is a game that is going to get some love, mainly at the running back position, some of these receivers, and then maybe one of those cheap tight ends. We are going to consider some of these position players in our cash games and tournaments this week because this game is in a dome, like a lot of these games this week. I think targeting the dome games makes a lot of sense. And then two, I want to know what the ownership is going to be on some of these games because I don't see one standing out as clear-cut, the best one, no doubt that you should go to. And because of that, I think looking at whichever game is number 2, 3 in line in the pecking order could be the better game based on the ownership being just so much lower than that game that kind of gets steamed up and everyone gravitates towards.
I love this game. What do you think about Renfro?
I haven't played Renfro all year, and I don't plan on doing it anytime soon. So I think I'm just going to continue to fade him over and over. Just
very good.
A good spot.
All right. The other games we'll do today: Dolphins, Lions, Cards, Vikings, Niners, Rams, Cowboys, Bears, Thursday Night Football, Ravens, and Bucks. Good time now to tell you to hit the like button because you like us. That'd be nice. You know, can we just rename the like button the fun button? Hit the fun button. It's a lot of fun. I think that's a better way to sell it. So hit the fun button. It looks like a thumbs up. Our next game is going to be Miami and Detroit. And this is the tallest total on the slate here. We're looking at a 51.5. Dolphins -3 and a hook on the road. Lions plus 155 on the money line, 51.5. I mean, basically the juice is the same. 109 -109 over, -112 to the under. So spread, talk to me here. How do we cap this game? High total. And you would think, I mean, if I'm going to go look at this, I'm going to go look at the Miami team total. I guess you're going to discuss Jared Goff too, but I'm going to go look at the Miami team total and say 27.5 points. I think they bust through that. Talk to me here. Miami, Detroit.
If you're going to this Miami team total, it has to be because you're fading Detroit because other than really that breakout game against the Ravens, this team hasn't been putting up a lot of points. They put up 20 in their debut against the Patriots. They had a great game, week 2, 42 points when they managed that comeback. Then 21 against the Bills, 15 against the Bengals, 17 against the Jets, 16 against the Vikings, and then 16 last week, right? So as much as I know Travis loves these inventive schemes from our favorite stoner head coach, the results haven't necessarily been there. And I understand he's going to have a great
What do you mean the results haven't been there? What do you mean? He's been.
If you're an offensive genius and you're putting up 16 points.
I mean, what is he supposed to do with the freaking guys he's got? I mean, he's got Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, he's got Jalen Waddle. He's got
Skylar Thompson at quarterback. It's the most important position in the league. What?
That was one game.
It wasn't one game. It was more than one game. And Teddy Bridgewater was in there. And here's the thing. Teddy Bridgewater was apparently not healthy enough to even be out there. So he was out there battling as best as he could. And then you got Tua, who's been injured. When you have no consistency at quarterback, right? That's going to cause problems. And yes, there hasn't been consistency at quarterback. And what is their record spread? What's their record? It's not bad. It's good.
Oh, it's pretty good. And I was going to qualify with that, right? It's too late to indict the guy because it seems like their quarterback gets knocked out of the game in the first quarter. That can obviously affect your game plan and your ability to put up points. But this Dolphins team, as exciting as they are with all the great weapons, I mean, even in the backfield, right? You have to love the running back combo that they got back there. They have not been able to put up points yet. But when you haven't been able to put up points, what is the recipe to turn things around? And of course, that's playing these Detroit Lions and that terrible defense that they've got going on there. You know, the Detroit Lions are a fun team. They put up a lot of points here until they ran into Dallas. So Dallas kind of showed you if you can put pressure on Goff, and we've known this for a little while, but the Detroit Lions offensive line has been playing well, but once you put pressure on Goff, he falls apart, which is why Sean McVay wanted to move on from him. So as tough as this is, I'm going to have to side with Mangone's favorite guy, and I think the Dolphins are the right side in this game.
All right. So, I mean, I'm looking at those game logs too, and I'm seeing that the Dolphins have struggled a little bit, especially offensively. Tua hasn't been in there. He's finally back, but Mangone, this DFS is a game of matchups, right? And I don't want to target anyone more than I want to target the Detroit Lions. So who's really not in this game that you would consider in the passing games? Okay. Because you got Hill, you got Waddle, Amon-Ra should be back and healthy. And there's some guys down to the bottom of the list too, that maybe we could trust in these passing games. And then Hawkinson and Gesicki. Gesicki is actually, I think he was a little bit more involved this past week. Yeah, the last 2 weeks, 7 targets. So talk to me here, Mangone. DFS side, Miami at Detroit.
Yeah, I'm just excited that I just pulled up the Dolphins schedule and it looks nice and clean for the next 4 or 5 weeks with a bye week in there. So spread, we're going to get that record up there nice to 7-3, hopefully. That way we can keep talking it up. And then it gets a little difficult, I will admit. So it'll be fun to monitor throughout the year and go back and forth. Also, Mike Gesicki is apparently one of the guys that Aaron Rodgers is looking to grab. He said, if we can't get a receiver, let's get some tight ends. So I don't know, be on the watch for that. I do think overall, the problem I'm going to have with this game, and this was the concern I did have last week, and I still played Dak stacks, which sort of kicking myself a little bit for, because the big thing I was worried about was this Dolphins run D is just so bad. You can just keep establishing it on them, and once you're up, you're just going to keep doing it over and over, and that's what I thought the Cowboys could do, and it's sort of what they did. The game played a little ugly, but they kept going on the ground, and it's what was working, and I do understand that McDaniel comes from that Niners, tree, the Kyle Shanahan one, where they love to pound the rock and establish it with some great schemes and good motion. And I assume they're going to do that here against the Lions and beat them up pretty good. So I think they're going to be out in front. I also think they're going to get enough pressure on Goff where he might make some mistakes where, I don't know, this isn't a game I'm dying to play. I might kind of try to gravitate away from it. You can make the argument Tyreek Hill, like in a dome, could have a massive game. And like, they could easily do like a motion play that's like a run play for Hill, and he just like breaks it for 80 yards. And it would not surprise me at all. Not saying I'll X him from the pool for sure, but game stacks are just not something I'm dying to get to here. And early in the season, I really was like kind of circling this game as a really interesting one, but I'm a little nervous about this Lions side of the ball not being able to put enough pressure, at least right now. Maybe as I kind of, do more research throughout the week, I can maybe change my opinion and maybe, just maybe, like, the ownership will be low enough where it'll be worth it, but I'm not that excited about this game as much as I thought I would be. I think St. Brown is an interesting contrarian option at the receiver spot because after the injury last week, right, the ownership is going to be even lower, especially with the price tags on those expensive receivers. So I think that's something to consider as the week develops. What is his ownership going to be? Because if he is going to be like, I don't know, like 3-4%, don't have to get that much to be overweight on a guy like St. Brown, who I kind of want to play a lot this year. So, yeah, I'm torn on how to approach this game because I think the run game is going to be strong with like Moser and Edmonds. And then there's a bit of a guessing game there. You can make the argument that Moser's rush attempts have been better and he's been more involved in the pass game. So maybe the best way to approach this game is just playing the run game. Grab Moser and then go and grab maybe like a St. Brown as a run back, or maybe just play him by himself.
You just call him Moser?
Yeah,
I can't say.
I love. No, I love it. He's
How
like
hard
French.
is that one?
He's French.
It deserves. It deserves.
Moser and Gobert. I love this man.
Well, yeah, you gotta call him Rudy Gobert. It's not Gobert. Like, what is it? It's Gobert.
Rudy Moser.
Raheem Moser. That's what we're gonna call him. We're gonna French it up.
That's great. All right, we're done with that game, right? No more analysis. I was a little surprised you're not as high on it. So
I want to be high on this game. Like, I saw this on the calendar like 4 weeks before because when I looked at the Dolphins schedule, I was like, that's going to be a DFS gold mine. But the problem is that Lions run D is just so bad, right? Like, but I do really think that what you're going to see is you're going to see them establish it a lot more than you'd want, and that could be really good for our boy Mr. Moser. So I think it's a good spot for him.
It's just amazing. All right. Thumbs up. Trevor Bryan. Has it been addressed? We're going to find out, Trevor. That's all I can tell you. We're going to find out.
I can address this.
Okay.
It's definitely being worked on. I believe there was a pretty good update today that had that be able to be fixed going forward. That's one reason to be in the Discord chat, just in case those things happen. It can at times, but it hasn't happened in a long time besides recently. But I believe we have an update this morning that went through that should be able to have this fixed going forward. So
all right.
Plan for that. Also plan for like, hey, I know it's not as convenient, but try to also think about when it comes to NBA locks, like, you have time to make changes later on too at like 7:30. So that can also maybe help as well. But yes, it has been addressed, I believe, and I'm hoping it gets resolved all today and it's all runs clean. But
had the site been up last night, I would have played Bradley Beal. So it's a good thing that I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, Bradley Beal. I know he got hurt and then he came back into the game. I don't know if he ended up doing well, but I remember he got hurt in the first quarter.
So there you go, Trevor. Listen, I'm as frustrated as you.
I'm optimistic of today. I'm optimistic.
I'm optimistic too, and trust it's gonna get fixed. Get the Discord, and that's all I can say. And today, if it does, I'll throw my coffee cup and ruin my wall for you if it goes down again. Okay, but we got the best content in the business. Stay patient, and we'll take care of it.
And hold it, hit the like, and then it won't go down, right? I don't know. It'll give enough power to make it work. How's that?
It's the fun button now.
Yes. Oh, it's the fun button. That's what we call
it's the fun button. I want people to have fun watching this show.
Well, if you want to have fun, then hit the like so we have fun.
Or just the fucking like button. Let's go to Cards and Vikings. By the way, James Conner is practicing. So when we get to the DFS side, that could change a lot of things. Cardinals getting 3.5 on the road, plus 165 on the money line. Vikings minus 190. Don't mess with that. Total is here 49, juice minus 10 on both sides spread. So we've got a Vikings team that looks really solid. And then Kyler looked competent with DeAndre Hopkins coming back. I think everything changed here with Nook coming back last week for the Cards. What kind of analysis you got for us with Arizona and Minnesota?
Yeah, we're going to have to put those Kyler jokes away for a little while because DeAndre Hopkins means so much to him as an outlet for that team. So expect this Cardinals offense to be on the uptick, and I think it definitely helps him from the daily fantasy perspective. From a betting perspective, though, I'm not necessarily still sold on this team. We talked about the weaknesses that the Saints had earlier, the declining defense, maybe Dennis Allen having problems switching over to head coaching duties full time. But a guy who has not struggled becoming a first-time head coach is, of course, the coach of the Minnesota Vikings, bringing in that high-powered offense from the Los Angeles Rams, featuring Justin Jefferson in that Cooper Kupp role. If you're over on runpuresports.com, Tyler and I pretty much finished it up last night. We still have some things to go because things change during the week, and we will update it and let you guys know in the Discord if something changes. But if you look at the projections that I've created, this was one of our biggest edges of the week, and it said to take the Minnesota Vikings. Am I a little worried? Yes, because of course, a lot of the stuff I use is just off the prior numbers, and those numbers don't include DeAndre Hopkins being in there. But at the same time, I don't think that this Arizona Cardinals defense is going to be able to stop this Minnesota Vikings offense. I think they're more diverse. They have more weapons, better run game, and this team is a much better coach. So I have a big edge on the Vikings here. I'm loving them on that side.
Wow. Mangone, how you feeling about the Vikings here? And then obviously we got to address the Arizona running situation because, Benjamin went bananas last week, but James Conner could be back this week. So talk to me. Can you start with the quarterbacks? And then I'm really interested in your thoughts on the running backs.
Yeah, this is the Saints doubleheader. The Saints and the Vikings, as Holden likes to say, but it's the Vikings and the Cardinals.
I deserve that. I mean, I do. I deserve it.
Yeah. So Vikings and Cardinals. Let's start with the Vikings side. Now everyone talked on Twitter last week, right? And I do agree with Big T. I know he was someone that was talking about on the Thursday night show. I'm typically like, once you kind of get these matchups that like you want to target, you kind of like or stay away from, you just do it. But I was laughing at like the idea in Showdown, like no one wanted to play Olave, right? Because of like the quarterback matchup and stuff like that. And like here we have Justin Jefferson in like the matchup where like Cooper Kupp has gotten locked down and all these guys, but like literally last week, Olave did whatever he wanted to with Andy Dalton chucking the ball. Justin Jefferson's an anomaly. I don't care about that matchup. That's not going to bother me. Justin Jefferson can do anything. Now, what's the ownership? That's the question. Will he be the highest home receiver on the slate? I'm unsure. I do think this could be the game that gets like, I don't know if it gets steamed up, but I think people might be like, man, you know what looks good this week? Let me go grab like a DeAndre Hopkins and like a Justin Jefferson stack. Or like maybe you can go like Rondell Moore instead for like the cheap guy at 5.1K. Typically, like I think the expensive receiver stack won't get steamed up. So I guess that's maybe wrong. But I do think this is a spot where people want to go to. Benjamin also is at that 6K range. And it's worth mentioning, if James Conner does miss this game, which I think there's a good chance he does, and even if he plays, I'm not that worried. Running back this week is not great, right? I could see people saying, let me grab Justin Jefferson and let me go grab Benjamin. And when I mean it's not great, look at everything below 6K. Besides Tony Pollard, who could be like a free square kind of guy this week, they priced up the running backs a bunch. So it's just worth mentioning that I think you could see Benjamin being one of the guys, or Rondell Moore, to be able to pair up with a Justin Jefferson. And with the way quarterback is structured this week, Jalen Hurts, 8-3, Kyler Murray, 7-5. You don't have that many expensive quarterbacks, where the idea of just playing Kirk Cousins at home in that 1 p.m. time slot sounds like an interesting idea at 6.1K. Now, you can make the argument that Kyler Murray is back, right? Oh, he's got DeAndre Hopkins and everything. Well, Spread, listen up. Pay attention here. This is important. Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Oh, we're doing this again. How many?
It comes out. It comes out this Thursday.
Hey, did you watch the Sunday show? They got on Hoop for making the same joke all the time, too. I think we're going to throw you guys.
Well, nobody recycles jokes like Mangone. I actually respect it now. I respect it.
This is it. It's Call of Duty. It comes out on Friday. We start to figure out, is Kyler really here? Is it Hopkins? Is it the Call of Duty? What's the problem?
I love the double standard that we're going to fade Kyler, but we're still going to rock Mangone's core after Call of Duty comes out.
To be fair, I played Kyler in the Seattle game, and I was at Big T's cheering on the 100-yard bonus, and I got it, Holden. I was yelling at the TV. JSU told me Kyler doesn't run, and I was literally saying, Holden, you suck. Kyler's running all over the place. So I was yelling at you. When I was at Big
Hold on, you said that to me?
JSU said on the Up to Lot show, you were like, Kyler doesn't run that much. Blah,
he
blah,
doesn't.
Blah. Well, he ran for 100 yards. So
right. 2 weeks ago, I said he doesn't run. Yes. Then he said he needed to run and he ran. Listen, why don't you fucking listen, JSU? and then I said, I don't know if the guy's going to run this week. He did say he wanted to run more, but he didn't run the first 5 weeks of the season. Oh my God. JSU, get a freaking hearing aid. All right.
Anyways, I'm just telling you what he told me when you guys were on the Up to Lock show. But,
yeah, of course he did. A little
so
gossip.
Guys
what, you guys
tournaments left and right. Can't afford a hearing aid. What's up with that, Holden?
He's ridiculous.
But
he's on my shit list.
Spread, this is the time. I'm just telling you, like Call of Duty, it comes out Friday, like the 28th. Like this is, so we're gonna have the moment to figure it out. Now, here's another stat that can play into it.
Holden, over under 77 podcasts that will mention that this week.
70. I won't mention it, but we will definitely hear that every single week for the rest of the year. And then we'll do basketball and we'll hear about Kyler Murray during their basketball shows. And then we'll get to baseball and you'll talk about Call of Duty. I think Mangone personally just wants to talk about Call of Duty.
Well, I think so too. Do you have like a new weapon coming out?
That's the only reason he says this.
I did jokingly look up like there's like a Venn diagram that someone made of it because I was just quite curious. I was like where the numbers drop off and stuff. And he hasn't been bad in the first week when it's been out. So if that matters.
No way, you really looked that up.
I was bored one day. I was like, let me look at this. That
is the depths of research there. Actually, I was shocked, but I have to commend you there. That's
it's like
that's what you get at Run Pure Sports.
It's like the Harden strip club thing, right? The strip club one was hilarious. I mean, we're really
that makes a little more sense than a video game.
Because
to me, strippers tire me out more than video games. I don't know about you,
because if you stay up all night playing and you get like 4 hours of sleep, you're gonna feel like crap. Like your sleep matters.
So you're saying that the exercise that Harden's getting, staying up all night, is better than just sitting on the couch?
No, I'm saying they're both bad. They're both not helpful. Like, I don't know, but anyways, but Kyler's price is 7.5. So let's talk about that, because I do think this is there's not a lot of great games on this slate where I think people could talk themselves into trying to play a little bit of Kyler this week. Especially because you got the Rondell Moore possible pairing. The AJ Green thing is dead, so don't even worry about him as a cheap option to pair up. And DeAndre Hopkins is 7.4. If you do look at these top end receivers, right? Kupp 9.6, Jefferson 9.1, Adams 8.6, Hill 8.5. People might look at DeAndre Hopkins and then you know what they're going to say, Spread? 14 targets, 10 receptions. This dude hasn't burned me yet, right? He treated me well on that showdown game. I think DeAndre Hopkins could be someone that people kind of gravitate towards a bit. They're also underdogs. So you would assume with them being underdogs, they're the trailing team. I think a lot of people might talk themselves into the DeAndre Hopkins thing at 7.4K if they don't feel like they can get up to a Hill, an Adams, a Jefferson, or a Cooper Kupp. So I think Hopkins is certainly in play this week, someone to look at. Zach Ertz at 5.1K. It feels like a hefty tag, but he's definitely just been pretty solid all year long. My only concern is I don't feel the need to spend at tight end this week, and I feel like I might need to use tight end as a salary saving position this week. So that's one thing to be concerned about. And if we are going to save salary, there's another guy that we can look to in this game. Why not look at Big Irv Smith at 3.5K? He's been pretty solid all around this year. Yes, he hasn't shown the ceiling game yet, but I think it could be coming. And this is a spot where it could happen here against Arizona, certainly. And this game could shoot out a bit. So I want to play these like Minnesota options when I feel like Kirk Cousins isn't on prime time and he's in that like nice sweet spot where he's able to sit there and he's in the 1 o'clock time slot. So while Kyler Murray is out there playing Call of Duty way too late, Kirk Cousins is getting that beauty sleep and he's playing in that perfect 1 o'clock window. I think it's an interesting spot for that Viking stack this week for sure.
Yeah, so we had a question in the chat. It was from Trevor. He goes, Arizona stinks versus tight end. Thoughts on Irv? So we just got that from you. Arizona stinks against quarterback, running back, and tight end. All right, so there's a lot. They stink against a lot of different positions here. And that Smith has 4+ targets in 6 to 7 games. So that's pretty good too. And we got, but as far as the tight end pool on this slate, Mangone, you tell me. I mean, is there anything else that really excites you up top? Maybe Kittle, Waller could be back this week. You talked about Ertz, but I don't know. I think Irv Smith is not the worst option, even in a tournament.
Yeah, no, it's bad at tight end this week. It's so bad. I was on the show earlier this week, the First Lick show, because, and this is something we should talk about. It matters in DFS this week. And we're not talking about the Colts and Commanders because I didn't want Spread to get upset that we were talking about that game, but we should discuss that Sam Ehlinger is 4K and a starting quarterback. And when you have a 4K starting quarterback, it's interesting. And I do wonder what they're going to do with their tight ends. Cause like sometimes you see like you saw it with Cooper Rush, right? What did Cooper Rush do? He threw to Noah Brown a ton. Well, Sam Ehlinger has been on that like practice squad or the backup crew. And who's he been playing with? He's been playing with Jelani Woods, who, I mean, maybe I'm a little biased because he was an absolute hero in college football DFS, but that dude's a touchdown machine. And I don't know why you wouldn't get him on the field more, but one of these cheap tight ends, like a Granson or a Mo Alley Cox too. Like, I don't know. I think it's like a super cheap pairing that you can put together and then just like go grab all like the studs on the slate. I mean, it's not, again, I don't think it's going to give you a lot of DK points, but it gets you all those absolute stud receivers and just ridiculous things like that. But it is worth mentioning because I think everyone's considering Sam Ehlinger in their cash games and they're considering punting the tight end position in general. Now, I don't think Jelani Woods is the greatest idea. It's just kind of like a fun tournament idea, but I think like Moreau's going to be the guy, or it's going to be maybe Irv Smith. He could be one of the options that we look at. So overall, that's their kind of, and Dalton Schultz, that's the other one at 3.7K, but we'll get to him when we kind of talk about that Dallas Bears game, because it's a great slate and we're talking Dallas and Bears on this show.
Yeah. They're throwing some dusty tight ends in the chat. And I must say a lot of these guys could be play this week. So yeah, a 4K quarterback. You just don't see it very often. What does this happen? Once a year? Twice a year?
And I don't think we had it last year, but and typically you want it to be a runner and be more ideal, and then it'd be the Stones. But yeah,
when did we have Kendall Hinton? Did we have Kendall Hinton? Remember that game where he got nothing?
I don't know. I think it was I think he was like receiver eligible, but like
that's what it was. Yeah.
I can't remember if it was, I can't remember what happened on that slate, but it was goofy for sure. Sometimes we get these weird things that happen that we can just like take a shot on if we want to. And I don't know. I want to see an Ehlinger construction and see a Jalen Hurts construction. That's what I'm looking at in my cash games, at least.
All right, guys and girls, here's what's going on Run Pure Sports. Check out the Run Pure Bets too, because Spread is over there. They do a great job. Joey work. We got the World Series coming up. So Joey will have his selections. Will probably be going game by game there. And the other thing I think you should know is what we give you for all the different sports. Now we're not quite. We're not even through halfway of the football season. So if you have not signed up yet, runpuresports.com. What you get is premium shows, including my Up to Lock show. It's JSU's Up to Lock show, but I host it. JJ from the Bet Side hops on. We talk about all of the plays we want in the NFL. We take your questions, and we do the same thing in the NBA, up to lock. Big T, Tony, JSU, myself. We'll give you our core plays. We'll give you the playbook, which is every single player that's in the pools. You'll get Tony, Big T's whole player pool. You get the cores. You get the cores from all our big guys too. So never a better time to sign up at Run Pure Sports. I was in the Discord last night, and Myers, who I can't stand, but I love too, he shipped, like a whole bunch of dudes shipped last night. Was that Showdown? What was that, Mangone? Because I went in the NBA chat. They're just, there's boats going and everybody's pumped up. What was that? I think it was the Showdown.
Are you talking about someone who shipped?
Like a whole bunch of shippers last night. Like
I know the big one was Locks won a live final seat. So congrats.
I'm talking about subscribers, like our subs.
I did see a bunch of screenshots. I don't know if it was Showdown. I was scrolling quick through it. But I mean, there's always a bunch of screenshots, right? The members absolutely crush it. And you also caught me watching your Twitter video of the Russell Wilson thing. Man, that was brutal to watch. Like it was not
so
good.
Bad.
But yeah,
so bad.
Tons of people are crushing NBA. Check out all the content that we have over here at Run Pure. I already got some of my single entry 3-max stuff up. It's like kind of like a baseline pool. I'll make some adjustments here in like the next couple hours or so, but we got APN will have the heat map up soon. We'll have the core plays later on, playbook. So we got it all for you here in the NBA streams.
Yes, we do. It's absolutely spectacular. And Spread, you just got done with the show. Tell them about your NBA show and your NFL shows too on the bet side.
That's right. We just finished the NBA rundown. We're having a great time over there. We break down, of course, the total, give out some of Tyler's favorite player props, and then we just touch on the DFS a bit, right? We're not the experts like Mangone, but hey, we're qualified to talk about whether or not you should spend up for LeBron or for Jokic. And so we have a lot of fun there diving into that. And of course, we have created an NBA bets playbook, which is different than the DFS playbook. And of course, that gives you my projections for the score of the game, where you should be looking, and it grades each one. Is this an RPB? Is this a Run Pure Bets level play that you really need to get on? Or is it just a lean that, hey, maybe you just put it in there because we're having some fun? But it's been great fun. It's a different time every day. Tomorrow we'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be with our guy, Kurt, who's now a EuroLeague legend, right? Shipping almost every day with his EuroLeague cores, and then back on Friday with AP, giving out those Friday night overs to have some fun in the NBA. So, of course, if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll be notified when we go live, and we hope you join us and have some fun. MPJ is out, but this will be watched a lot this weekend, so let's not talk about that too much. We got the Niners-Rams next. Woo! So Elijah Mitchell could be back, and there's talk that he gets some early down work when he does come back. That was a little bit surprising. Spread, we're looking here. This is not a high total game, so Vegas is not expecting too much out of this. The Rams 1.5 point dogs at home. Niners minus 117 money line. Rams plus 104. 43.5 is the total. I think that's actually inched up a point, Spread. But how about the Rams being dogs at home? Talk to me. Yeah, initially it looks surprising, but let's go ahead and look at the 49ers' success against the Rams. They've consistently done well. Shanahan, for whatever reason, beats McVay almost every single time. Then you look at what's going on with the Rams this year, their inability to protect Matt Stafford, give him time for these plays to open up down the field. And who's better to take advantage of that but Joey Bosa, Eric Armstead, and the defensive line of the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm not surprised at all. You take the trend that San Francisco consistently beats the Rams, except in the Super Bowl or in the NFC Championship game where Tart drops that interception, and then the streak would be even longer. But they've had the Rams number, and this is a Rams team that's struggling. And NFL insiders and people who build it, NFL is a copycat league, but you notice only team that's really copied them as far as jettisoning these draft picks is the San Francisco 49ers. And it's because the Rams have become this top-heavy team, and now they're really struggling with depth. And we're seeing that with their inability to replace on the defensive line. And with so much money going into Jalen Ramsey, they don't have enough around them on the defensive end as well. It's basically Aaron Donald or bust. Of course, I can't wait to hear how Travis thinks about the addition of Christian McCaffrey into the offense. He seemed to speed read his way into the playbook last week. And I think we would have seen more of him if the San Francisco 49ers defense was able to get some stops against the Chiefs. But hey, getting blown out by Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and that crew. The 49ers aren't the only team to suffer that fate. So I didn't really downgrade them that much off the loss. I upgraded the Chiefs. Bosa did play in that game. Trent Williams was back. So those guys should be even healthier this week. I agree. Normally we love these home dogs there in these division games, but I agree here that the 49ers are the right side based on the football matchup and the history between these teams.
All right, Mangone. Well, let's just talk about Christian McCaffrey for a second. He's 8-7 on DK. Is he in the pool, given that the workload doesn't look like it's going to be anything like it was in Carolina? What do you have? 10 touches. Now he walked off the plane and he got 10 touches. So maybe that's good, but talk to me about McCaffrey this week.
Yeah, you guys are putting me to sleep a little bit because I don't like this DFS game. This is a tough one. Christian McCaffrey's price is expensive for the role he's going to have. I'd rather play Derrick Henry at 8-4 instead against the Texans. That sounds way better for me. So no CMC. You could always talk yourself into the Deebo Samuel thing. Maybe his FanDuel price is a little better. Let me check that because his FanDuel price has been pretty good this year. So I'll pull that up right now. I know we talked DraftKings more so, but as I'm pulling that up, I do want to talk about Cooper Kupp a little bit because Cooper Kupp, if we think, right, that the Niners are going to dominate this game like they always do, right? They always dominate the Rams. Well, if that's the case, Cooper Kupp, look at the last 3 games he's played against them. And I'm not going to say the game before that because that was in 2020. This Cooper Kupp wasn't it in 2020. You know what I'm saying? He turned the corner in 2021. Had a game where he had 26.2, 29.6, 29.2. Great games from him, obviously. Definitely someone that you want to consider. The question is, do you like him more than these other options? I do think Cooper Kupp's consistency, though, is great and something that cannot be ignored. And we know if they're going to be trailing, well, they're going to be throwing a ton to him. He's just going to get the ball a lot. So I'm stalling here, though, holding. So I want to get to the Deebo Samuel price tag because I know it's been cheap on FanDuel in the past. It's at 7-3 this week. 7-3 is kind of enticing, especially for a touchdown equity kind of site. So I'm definitely considering Deebo Samuel a little bit over there. I know George Kittle is 6'9 over there. He's the most expensive tight end, followed by Taysom Hill, who's at 6'5, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, George Kittle is the most expensive tight end on DK as well at 5.7K. I just don't see myself spending up for him. I like George Kittle in games when I think he's going to be trailing. And last week, what did I say last week? They're probably going to be trailing against the Chiefs. Yes, they were trailing against the Chiefs. What happened? 21.8 DK points. They're leading. I don't want anything to do with George Kittle. You can play him. I'm not going to play him this week. If we keep moving this thing along.
Higbee.
Yeah, Higbee is interesting. It's worth calling him out because he's 4.2K. Yes, last week was a little disappointing against Carolina, but the key with that, I think, is he has been really good this year and kind of been their number 2. This is a good bounce back spot where maybe people just kind of got disappointed from that last game. And then there was the bye week where maybe they just decide like, hey, people don't go to Higbee as much as they should. So I like him at 4.2K. I think he's in the conversation this week. And maybe it's just him and that's it from this game because I don't really have too much interest in loading up on this one. I think it's a better game to watch from like a fan perspective, right? It's 2 division teams against each other, coaches that know each other well. Sometimes I think it's better to attack these games where like it's not that division rival game, right? Like sometimes you see Carolina and Tampa Bay, out of nowhere, Carolina just pulls off an upset. Those happen way more in those, I feel like division games than you kind of see in these like random other games. I think you kind of see the better team rise up and you see some bad defense being played. And that's why I like games like Arizona and Minnesota. Games like Miami and Detroit could be more interesting. Or even as a nice segue, Holden, for us, maybe Chicago and the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't know why you're going to shit on these games.
That's a bad game. But the problem is there's bad games everywhere.
But it's the Cowboys, so people listen to us. That's why I had to pick it.
It's fair, but there were no great alternatives. Like this is a week where I want to hear what spread would have put on besides Bears and Cowboys if you had a choice. Like spread, what would have been your option?
Panthers.
That's a good question.
Here, I'll give you the games: Panthers, Falcons, Patriots, Jets,
Giants, Seahawks,
Steelers, Eagles.
So spread, I considered the Seattle one, but the only reason I didn't is I don't feel like talking about is DK Metcalf in or he's out. That's like a Friday news dump thing with Holden to figure out.
Okay,
and
that's fair.
Here's another crazy thing. The Giants are 6-1, right? 6-1. They don't have one receiver with over 200 receiving yards. Who are we playing at receiver for that team We're not playing any of their tight ends.
And we lost I think I put Bellinger in my lineup 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting Bellinger anymore, and I mean, you could play Barkley. I mean, we could talk about Kenneth Walker and how great.
That's what I want to ask you about real quick. I know we're not talking about this, but with Breece Hall out, I want to play a rookie running back. Is Ken Walker? Is he going to be worth that price tag, Mango?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Ken Walker's a beast. I mean,
Michigan State.
Michigan State guy.
I'm worried because I got my Dameon Pierce future rookie of the year, and Kenny Walker might come in and steal it.
Well, the issue with Kenneth Walker, just to call out, if they're trailing, like he's probably not going to get as much work. I don't think so. Like that's
the Giants never get ahead. They come back in the fourth quarter every game.
Well, that's what you say, but last week they were ahead, and then Kenneth Walker just breaks one out for like 11 yards. So.
You know what? It's got to be on the main slate, and we're prepared for all these games there anyways. So here's my question for everybody. Do you want Giants, Seahawks, or Cowboys, Bears? You got 30 seconds to get your vote in the chat. For those of you that are watching, not live,
my vote is Cowboys Bears because I feel like I talked enough about that game just now.
You talked enough about that
man
game.
Of the people. I love it.
All right, you got 30 seconds. Hit the fun button while you're at it. We got 36 likes. Likes is fun button. That's what we're going to do. We'd love that.
Holden's burner voted Giants Seahawks because the name is Jack Off.
All right, so Simon tells me there's a 30-second delay, so I got to give you a minute. Why is there a 30-second delay, by the way? Is it because potty mouth over here? Yeah, it's the YouTube. Okay. Well, while we're waiting for you guys to chime in on that, Mangone, what shows do you have coming up the rest of the week? Let's kill a little time.
Yeah, let's kill a little time. And while we're killing time, let's hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That way our producer, Simon, is happy. That helps us out a ton. Shows that I got this week. You will see me, I believe, on Thursday will be my next show. That should be NBA Hardwood Show. So you'll see me then. And then you get a little break for me until Saturday. You'll see me Saturday morning with Dunkel, Big T, Bruce. That's always a fun time. Bruce brings tons of the good college takes, the gems, the projections for the people. Big T gives out those winners. JJ, he sits there and hosts the show and acts like he doesn't win anything. And then I fight Big T and Dunkel because, they need someone to go at them instead of stroking each other. So that's a fun time. And then on Sunday, I did the Showdown show with Rubio, Megan, and Kurt right after the games. And hey, Holden, maybe if you ship this week, we can have you hop on and celebrate the shipper if you can win $1 million.
Listen, man, it's been and I give so much credit to our coordinator. It has been a profitable NFL season for me. I'll be honest, last year was tough. Last year was my first losing year in a long time, but this has been one of the better starts I've ever had. And I got to give credit to our coordinators. I mean, and I'm not just going to name it, but Tony, Big T, JSU, yourself, Mangone, helping me with the 3 max. Tambo's in there. Hoop has helped me like really crush this year. Hoop's cores have been absolute fire. So all of our guys here, if I left you out, I apologize. Locks, I play Locks' core now too. Locks might be the hottest one of all the hot ones. Well, it's probably Tony. Anyways, and Hoop, Giants Seahawks is what they want. So that's what we got to do. Trevor, not Trevor. It's not Trevor. It's Tyler. Tyler. He wants to know what he has behind him. Not the Paul Pierce picture. What is to your right? The hook to your right. What is that? Look to your right.
Yeah, I'm supposed to like hang like a curtain there or something. I don't know. There's nothing there.
All right.
I need to meet you and get that curtain so it doesn't see the.
I do have those black. I got the blackout curtains. How many crowns? I used my last 30 crowns, Spencer. So it's unfortunate, but we had to do it. All right, we got to take a left-hand turn. Spread. Didn't want to do the Cowboys. Mangone didn't feel very comfortable with that, so we're doing Giants and Seahawks. Okay, Giants have been easily the biggest surprise of the NFL season. What are they, 6-1? Seahawks, on the other hand, thriving without Russell Wilson. Geno Smith has been pretty damn competent. So Giants +3 on the road, +133 on the money line, and 45 is the total here. Spread, why wouldn't we consider taking the points with the Giants this week?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Holden. Boy, I like the Seahawks as a team more than Giants. I'm a big Pete Carroll guy myself. As the guy that does the old. Why are you making that face? You're part of the old guys pod. We have to root for old guys.
No, it's not. It's not how I roll, Spread. I don't care
really?
how old you
So
are.
you're just gonna root for some young kid instead of my guy Pete Carroll, huh? All right, I see. how
Mike
you are.
Tomlin's my favorite head coach, by the way.
Same here. If you watch the show on Friday,
He's our
it's
age.
kind of a running shtick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Pete Carroll's who I want to be when I'm 70. Regardless, I have to go against my heart here. And I think you have to take the Giants from the points. I mean, this team is constantly underrated, right? Because of, let's be honest, the proliferation of daily fantasy into our NFL thinking, right? Travis brought it up earlier. This team has no wide receivers. Now they lost their tight end. On paper, they don't look very good, but they continue to get things done. And Brian Daboll has done a fantastic job. And I think that it shows you just because you're Sean McVay's assistant, you're not necessarily ready to be a head coach. Daboll spent over 20 years in the NFL before he took his first head coaching job under multiple different teams, right? He wasn't just Belichick's assistant for 20 years. He worked in many different systems, picked up what he needed to learn from all these different guys. And now you're seeing the results here. I don't know. I mean, Josh Allen could have been great regardless, but you have to give him credit for his development. And now he's doing the same thing with a guy, Daniel Jones, that kind of has some of the same traits, right? Fast on his feet, big arm, big guy, right? Underrated coming out of college. So as much as I would like the Seahawks to win here, I have to go against my heart and continue to bet these New York Giants because statistically they shouldn't be winning.
I just wonder if I'm jumping on the bandwagon too late. Like, did I miss them by a week?
But they're not laying points on the road against the Seattle Seahawks team that, let's be honest, they're fun to watch on offense. Geno Smith is dropping dimes, but the defense isn't necessarily that good just because, they shut down Arizona that 1 week. I'm not necessarily sold on this defensive team. And we know how beat up the Chargers were as well when they rolled down there to get that win. I think, you talk about you don't want to buy high on the Giants. I think it's the same thing. I mean, we thought the Seahawks would be one of the worst teams in the NFL this season. We thought they'd be drafting a quarterback with their pick and not that Denver Broncos pick, which
they're going to have a top 5 pick.
Yeah. But
for like the next 2 years.
But both teams are in a buy high situation, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take this Giants team that for whatever reason, Tyler's probably in the chat hating this pick right now because he thinks the Giants are so overrated. But I'm going to go with the team that gets it done, like Tupac said, against all odds.
Okay. You just dropped a Tupac reference. I was not expecting that from you. Giants.
I got to keep you on your toes, Holden.
Seahawks. Geno's 5'8" on DK. Daniel Jones is 5'7", Mangone. So you got affordable QBs on FanDuel. Geno Smith is sitting at $7K this week and Daniel Jones at 7.5. So there's a $500 difference there. We look at the running back situation, Barkley and Walker. There's actually some really talented players in this game. So I'm glad we kind of pivoted to that. Wide receivers, DK is down. Marquise Goodwin will be one of the most popular plays of the week. I'll get your thoughts here at tight end too, but can you start with the quarterbacks, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith? This week, is there enough of a ceiling?
Yeah, spread. Listen up, because I have a reference for you that I want to see if you can catch. So this is one the only certain NBA people can remember. So be ready for it.
Will you just say it now? So
no, we gotta say it towards the end. Yeah, he's got to be listening.
I gotta listen.
So let's go with the Giants. Let's start there. Saquon Barkley, 8.1K. We should talk about him because he is this offense, right? I mean, how is this team 6-1? It's because of Barkley. DK points have been 20.5, 18.5, 19.6, 21.2, 22.6. I mean, the guy's been great. He had that one ceiling game against Tennessee where he went for 36.4, but we haven't seen that much else. Now they are on the road here, but I do think he's going to be a good option that you should consider at 8.1K. If you're going to go up, I prefer Derrick Henry, I think, right now, but I think Barkley's an interesting option too that we can't ignore. Josh Jacobs is, I don't know if I consider him in that up top tier. I'm kind of just saying 8K and above. The two guys are Henry and Barkley, the ones that I would be considering in my pool if I spend up above 8K. I don't know what to say about any of those other Giants. It's hard to talk up Marcus Johnson or Slayton or maybe Wan'Dale Robinson. Like, he's someone that I do like as a player, and I want him to break out and be something. So maybe it's someone I do consider a little bit more in my pool this week and hope that this is the breakout week because it is the Seattle Seahawks, right? We like to attack this defense. We don't think it's very good. Even though they are on the road, I think he could be in play. So I'm not going to totally ignore these receivers. And I won't even ignore Marcus Johnson completely at 3-3, just because of what he could do for your full lineup. Maybe he's that one piece that helps get you everything that you want. Wouldn't hate it. We'll go to the Seattle side of the ball. I should talk about the tight ends. I mean, Will Dissly and Noah Fant with these, with the injury of DK Metcalf. I put both names together. With that injury, you're going to see these tight ends maybe get a little bit more work. Probably have to play a little bit of a guessing game with them, but it's something worth mentioning. I believe I saw Travis. Is it Travis Homer is the guy that he's coming back from injury now. He might be good to go this week. And I like Kenneth Walker at 6'5", but I do have some concerns that if they are trailing, will he get the ball as much? That's something to think about at least. And then last but not least, Spread said it himself, Geno Smith's out there dropping dimes, but is he dropping dimes like Kevin Love and Damian Lillard back in the day? That was some good stuff. So Geno Smith is going to be dropping dimes to Tyler Lockett, and he's at 6.5K. I mean, 6.5 is a really nice price tag. It has gone up from the 5.8, where people might be scared to play Tyler Lockett this week with all those other great top end receivers, but I'm still not scared. I'm going to get myself some Tyler Lockett exposure.
Just want to bring this,
Travis.
Okay.
If the people were being stingy with the thumbs up button, they have to give it to you after that fantastic reference to, probably one of the best NBA commercials of all time.
Yeah,
it's up
only
there
the
with
NBA
Little
hardos.
Penny.
Yeah,
it's up there with Little Penny, and I don't think you remember that. Holden, you probably remember those.
Oh,
right?
I
The
remember Little Penny. That was Chris Rock, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My favorite was you'd watch NBA League Pass, and it would be like the only commercial they'd play all the time. It was, and then you had the dropping dimes. Like
what was your reference best. You dropped, Mangone? I missed it.
That was it. The dropping dimes commercial.
Damian Lillard and Kevin Love. It was like an All-State commercial where they do dropping dimes, and like it was great.
Yeah. By the way, Spread, just going back to this, I looked it up. 64% of the bets on the Giants, but 63% of the money is on the Seahawks. So that's interesting. So the public loves the Giants, and there's some sharp money coming in on the Seahawks. But
do you buy those numbers? Everyone loves those numbers.
It helps. I love fading the public
for the sportsbooks to put out the proper information.
I love fading the public when it comes to betting.
And is it public if it's on Wednesday? When does the public come in?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this much. If 2/3 of the bets are on the Giants and 2/3 of the money is on the Seahawks, that is a discrepancy.
All right. Well, we'll see. I don't buy those statistics just as much. I think there's more noise than signal in those, but we'll revisit this next week.
Trevor Bryan, how hard is it to hit the like? Yeah. How hard is it? A like button. We'll also call it the fun button. So do that. That'll help us out. That'll make us happy, and a happy crew here is a happy crew for you. We got one more game to get to, and boy, we've had some bad Thursday night games, but this could be sexy. I don't know. Ravens -1.5 on the road at the Bucks. Tom Brady, I watched his press conference. He was asked, as the offense turned the corner, and he sat there silent for like 2 seconds. He's like, well, it's not a good scene with Tampa Bay. On the other side, you got Lamar and the Ravens. Lamar's hip was bothering him a little bit, but it really didn't affect him from a running standpoint. The problem is his passing numbers down recently. And then Mark Andrews again missed another practice, and he was hobbled. I know they had to keep him in to block because there was a lot of blitzing going on last week, but he didn't look 100%. He didn't even look close to it. Ravens -120 on the road, Bucks +105, 45.5 the total. Hey, Spread, you got any thoughts on this total of 45.5 being that it's a Thursday game?
Yeah, just keep betting the under on these Thursday games. We've seen that these offensive coordinators don't have enough time to properly prepare for the upcoming defense that they do in a regular week. And I know that we got the explosion last week, but how much of that was pick sixes, right? That kind of blew that game open. Maybe if it's a little closer, the game script plays out different here. I'm going to keep going to the under on these Thursday night games. We saw the lack of chemistry going on with the offensive line, and that's not their fault. That's due to injuries. But these beat up offensive lines, that can lead to trouble for an offense. Brady having problems getting chemistry with these receivers because he's not getting time to throw, and who better to take advantage of that than the Baltimore Ravens? Because one thing that we've seen from the Baltimore Ravens is how much they were reliant on Wink Martindale and their ability to get pressure with creative scheming to take eyes off their cornerbacks, put their cornerbacks in better position. They don't want to lead these these guys out in coverage. When they first started, the blitz rate had dropped like 40%. He's starting to pick it up more and more, the new Ravens defensive coordinator. And I think that he understands that that's the way that this team is going to be successful. They're built on being an aggressive defense, and I expect to see that. I think this one is tough, right? Because, we talked about buy high, sell low earlier. I mean, is there a, not buy high, sell high, buy low? Is there a better buy low spot than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off one of the worst upsets of the whole season in that loss to the Carolina Panthers? At the same time, we can see why this team is struggling. It's not like it's a complete shock when you're missing your offensive line. Another deal, we talked about the Saints. These defensive coordinators take over head coaching duties. Now you have a lot more on your plate than just designing a game plan. It's so much easier to be a coordinator. All you think about is your specific thing. You're not dealing with planes. You're not dealing with hotels. You're dealing with your guys on the side of the ball. Don't have the deal with the media, the pressure from the owner here. So Bowles could be another guy. Remember, just like Dennis Allen, he wasn't good in his first go around as a head coach either. So I think there's good arguments on both sides of this game, which is why I'm looking to the total. And once again, I'll take the under.
Going under. All right, let's do this, Mangone. I have bet the Lamar over rushing almost blindly this year. In the last 2 weeks, it's taken us down to like the final 3 minutes of the game, but he's gone over. So talk to me here. How popular is Lamar going to be in these showdowns? You got to think he's going to be so popular in captain, right? How does this thing play out too? Brady, Lamar, what do you got?
Yeah, did you say you're blindly betting the unders on Lamar
Over
all year? Oh, you've been betting the overs. Okay, that's because
if I blindly bet the unders, I would lose a shit ton of money because every week he's going over.
That's what I was gonna say. It's an RB1. You understand he's a running back. He's not a quarterback. Yeah. So good for you, Holden. You're on the sharp side there with that one.
No, he's also a good passer.
Yeah, well, debatable.
Yeah, I know.
Well, let's talk about Lamar. Lamar's going to be one of the chalkier captains. Like him a lot. It is one of those interesting spots where, I was shocked to see Foreman and Chuba Hubbard running all over the Bucs this past week, but I do think they were just gassed late in that game because of how bad the offense was. Mark Andrews will be an interesting option that you cannot ignore. Definitely a really good play that I'm going to be looking at in captain and the flex. This is a kicker slate, in my opinion. One reason why the kickers have been so good in showdowns, I feel like on Thursdays, these offenses, they kind of stall because they get up the field and they just can't get the whole way there. And then, hey, we got Justin Tucker and Ryan Suckup. Those are good kickers. So like those as options. Nice to obviously have the opportunity to go like a Mike Evans or a Chris Godwin as like some stud receivers to get some exposure to. We know Leonard Fournette could be a really good flex floor play because of the PPR points that he will get throughout the game and the rushing equity that he will have. So I think Fournette is probably the best play on the Tampa Bay side if I had to pick one. You will not see me playing Thomas Brady too much this week. I understand. I get it, but I think there's better plays in this game that I can go to. You can play him in the flex, certainly fine, but he will not be in my captain. Not something that I'm really looking to gravitate towards. And I know Spread was telling me you could buy you could buy low on the Bucks, but that feels like the guy that keeps telling me to buy the dip, right? And it just keeps dipping and dipping. I'm good. I'm gonna keep watching it dip down a little bit more.
So you're not getting any Top Shot this week?
No Top Shots for me this week. That was a good one.
I don't think the rushing yards is that great this week. Lamar's they bumped it up 5 yards, 62.5. But I'll say this: he has rushed for over nine attempts a game and 4 of 5.
Does Justin Tucker have any field goal props for this one? Like this dude's gonna because this defense ain't a joke on the Bucs, right? But I think this Ravens team can move the ball enough where I think Tucker's going to kick the ball a ton this week for sure.
So you want a little I bet you it's at 1.5.
It's 1.5. I like that over. I'm just gonna. Yeah. What's the juice though? Is the juice like?
I don't know. I got to find it.
I can see it being high. Let's take some time to search for that. While you're searching, hit the like, please. We appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Check out all the content. And listen, Holden has said it. We don't even know what's our best score. Everything's crushing here over at Run Pure Sports.
Good.
And when you subscribe to the channel, what happens is you get to find out at 4:45 when the NBA show goes live. And last week on the NBA show, you know who shipped? Tambo on Wednesday and Locks. And guess who's on the show this Wednesday? Again, Tambo and Locks. And who shipped last night? Locks. It's a great show to watch. So subscribe to the channel so you get notified when it goes live.
I only got it on one shop, but it's minus 143. So I don't love that juice, but
yeah, you can probably shop around and get something decent.
1.5 field goals.
I like it though. I might make that wager. I'm going to have to look around.
All right. Let me know if you hit it. It's sitting in the minus 140s at 3 different books. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I do with it.
switch around. Okay. So thank you very much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. That's terrific. Spread, wonderful to see you again. I'm going to go tape the old guys pod. A little bummed you're not going to be on it today, but that's fine. Be on the lookout. Old guys pod, me, Uncle T, JT talking nonsense, and then we'll talk a little bit of football. Mangone, good to see you as well. Get ready. Snow showers coming. Hunker down. Get out to your local Whole Foods and stock up, or wherever you shop. Maybe you go to Come and Go. I'm not sure.
Good news. I know I don't need to go to Whole Foods anymore because that's where Holden goes. He showed his hand. So.
Simon, thank you very much for making this show go smoothly. And why don't you get us out of here while you're at it?